All right, sir. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Nah, brother. It's nice to have another sexy accent on the call.
I think it's recognized as the second sexiest accent in the world.
One under Manchester, right?
I think I think you guys would be like the hundredth.
Yeah, no. Obviously, with all the differences in our accents, it's nuts, man. Like I get over here and everyone's like, "Oh, you're Irish," and I was like, no." They're like, "No, no, you are," and I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure. Like, pretty sure I'm not." Oh,
Yeah,
you're German. I was like, "Mate, come on, just ask where I'm from."
yeah. Look, your area of the world is crazy, right? Just down the road, and the whole accent changes, and
Yeah.
communicating with people becomes a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I mean, it was going back to what we were saying before, right, with culture and that, and linking onto the whole history card as well. Like, there's been so much like migration around that part of the world, right, and they've brought with them the culture, and I think it's fantastic, and that's just kind of like transitioned into all this like dialect that people then speak, right, and we all say
Yeah,
speak the same language, quote unquote English, but the way we sound and the way we talk it is completely different. Like I say, if I speak to a non-native English speaker, they will have better English than I will.
yeah,
A hundred
yeah. With
percent.
all the you guys with all your different slangs and
Uh
sayings.
like it's bullshit. Like we don't speak English. We just kind of speak some sort of weird like pigeon
Code.
English. Yeah, some code.
It's
Exactly.
speaking code.
Makes it quite difficult when you're trying to coach, man.
Yeah, yeah. When I was over that side, I was like, "Oh, it's great, English speaking country. You can have a good time." And then I started like they would start saying stuff, and I would just kind of look at him and go, "I have no idea what you're saying. Like I can understand the word, I just don't know what it means."
I love to be flies on the walls in these conversations, man. Like you just see people's faces and you're like, they've got not a billio what's going on. Like not a single clue.
Yeah, it's one of those you get into the situations, right? I just sometimes would look at someone and go, "Yes," or "Okay," like you can't carry on, right? So you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of leave room to go, hopefully take the conversation in a direction where I don't have to admit I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you were in Birmingham though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a rough one to understand, man. Like a proper Brummy
See,
accent.
I didn't, there was all this, even, I mean, all the people back home are like, that's the worst one. The Brummie accent's terrible. Don't come back with the Brummie accent. And I didn't hear it. I
Wow.
didn't really hear any difference, and I didn't think it was bad at all. I cannot figure out what is so bad about a Brummie accent.
I think I don't know, it's super like monotone, slower, you know, it's kind of seen as like the depressed accent, I would say.
Depressed accent.
You
They
know,
just chilled, man.
yeah,
Leave them
they are.
alone.
They are. But it's kind of like, okay, like real slow. It's a weird little middle ground between the north and the south, right?
For us, I thought it was like a lot of guys down at our coastal cities talk sort of at the same pace.
Mm.
So it was just it was just kind of like being in Cape Town or Durban.
Oh, funny you say that. I got a good mate of mine from Durban. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's broken
yeah,
memory. That's where he's from. I was trying to think about it all day yesterday. I was like, fuck. I got a really good South African mate, and where's he from? And yeah, he's from Durban.
yeah. Great place. Hot, good
Hot.
food. Oh yeah, humid.
Fuck that. Too
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
man.
You wouldn't enjoy it.
No, look, I'm reflective. I blend in with an A4 piece of paper. If I go as a ghost, I'm going as camouflaged.
Yeah, yeah. Can't spend too much time in the sun. You go
No,
red.
no, we don't have a good relationship, me and the son, unfortunately. It's a love-hate
Yeah, it's
thing.
like put on what is it, SPF 1000, trying
Dude,
to stay cool.
dude, you've got to like special order in, right? SPF 100. And when I was a kid, my mum used to special order it in for me because I was that white.
I had no idea there even was SPF. 100. I thought it
Yeah,
was like SPF 40, you going, you're really trying to protect yourself.
it's like thick paste. It's
It's just like, might as well put on some cream.
yeah, it's basically slathering yourself with mayo, mate. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, it
At
worked.
that
I'm
point,
still
I
white.
just like, I can't imagine putting that on and then trying to, be in the sand. I'm sorry.
Oh no. I mean, where's the sand in Manchester, bro?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So one of the places I didn't get to go see. So I'll have to come back and give Manchester a visit.
Oh mate, let me know when you do. Like, I'll meet you over there, wherever I'm
Oh,
at.
dope.
We'll throw some weights around.
Yeah. But if first thing that comes to my mind is just go train.
Fuck yeah. Like that's I honestly think it's one of the best things to like embrace yourself in like local people for the new place that you go. Just go to like a grungy gym, start talking to people and start lifting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I think if you even had to move to a new country, like the fastest way to meet people, make friends, is go play a sport.
Mm.
Go join a club. And like lifting's great because lifters love to talk about lifting. So if you just like show up at a gym and just start lifting with someone, you're probably gonna make a friend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 4 hours of conversation. How do you squat? How do you lift? What's your program like? My favorite is what pre-workout do you take? We had a long conversation about that one this morning. That was fun.
There. Have you done Russian squat? How's your knees? It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
have you ever completed Smolov? Like
Yeah.
just random shit, man.
Yeah, but I mean I love it, right? Like all my closest mates I've met through lifting.
Hmm.
So there's definitely something there.
Oh, dude, it's such a special community. Like, especially lifting for performance, right? Not just going in and doing some bicep curls and whatever and fucking off. Like, if we're gonna take strength sports as an example, it's such a special community because you get these mutant human beings coming in, being able to move a barbell so beautifully or get underneath some unbelievable amount of load and move it around, right? And you'd look at them from the outside and be like, fuck that. Like, I'm not speaking to them. They look like the Incredible Hulk. And then you actually start talking to them and they're fucking the sweetest people on the planet.
Yeah, I was about to say like 8, 9 times out of 10, right? You'll go up to him like that was incredible, and they go, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's not that good. Then the conversation starts, right? You think the guy's like playing some hardcore music, doesn't want to be spoken to. Meanwhile, it's probably just like a podcast, some Disney songs,
Yeah.
which is great, right? I think that comes from lifting. I think if you lift long enough, you're humbled enough
Mm.
by the bar to you figure out how to be a nice person pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Humbled by the bar, man. And I think that's why it's so important to teach this thing into kids.
Oh, oh yeah.
Like you develop a sense of discipline, right? And humility and just be like, well, I'm gonna put my hands on the bar and so are you, but the bar doesn't know who's got the hands on, doesn't give a shit, it's gonna weigh the same.
Yeah, yeah. I think when you're coaching the young ones, you'll teach them some patience,
Mm,
and probably they'll develop a really good relationship with hard work.
mm.
Put in the hard work over a period of time. Reward comes later. You get comfortable with that. Yeah, I think that'll bleed into the rest of your life, right?
Mm. Especially weightlifting, man. Like it's so skill dependent, right? Like I mean, so is powerlifting, when you get to the top end, but most people can come into the gym and put something on their back and squat, pick someone up from the floor and lie down and push something off the chest. Most people will be able to do some sort of variation of that, right? And get pretty good at it. But then when you get over to the snatch and the clean and jerk, like a lot of people can't even put their arms above their head.
Yeah, I think I think that's like there's pros and cons to both, right? Like powerlifting is great because of how accessible it is, and anyone, like you said, can come and do it. which is amazing, right? Like I did squats and deadlift before I ever started, long before I ever started my first ever snatch. But I think what I always loved about lifting was the challenge, was how, this isn't easy. This isn't, I don't get to just be good at this immediately. And then that's kind of what hooked me, was it's mentally stimulating, right?
Man.
Like it, talking about like the lifting clubs and that stuff, right? Like it's so cool, right? Because eventually you stick around long enough, it actually always becomes like your sports club, like going to play volleyball or rugby at a club on a Tuesday night, right? You're going to go to the gym and you're going to work on your sport with your mates, and it's got the technical elements and stuff to work on. And then when you're there and you're kind of enjoying it, I think that's when it's at its most fun. So, for me, where powerlifting is accessible, lifting is so, it just, you're stimulated. There's always something to work on. There's always something you can be better on. And if you like that, then, well, you live forever.
Hell yeah, man. Like, I couldn't agree more. And I think it bridges the gap between like movement and more like philosophy. That's kind of where my brain goes. Like, you can stop me, I go down rabbit holes, right? But I'm gonna run with it, because you kind of
go down the hole.
All right, cool. I'm going in head first. Here we go. Because like, there's a quote by Buddha, right, where it says happiness is the journey, not the destination, right? And one of the first thing I was ever told about weightlifting was you'll always be shit at weightlifting. And it sounds on face value, that
sounds terrible.
It sounds very bad, but at the same time, there's always another kilo, right? And you can always move the bar better. The weight can always go up. There's always going to be something you can improve on. And once you kind of come to terms with that and be like, oh, this is a process, right? Rather than I got to get to 100 kilos, 200 kilos, 150, whatever the fuck it is, right? Got to move it this way. Like that doesn't stop, because you then want more, and then you're going for more, and it's falling in love with that grind, that hard work, and never actually finishing the job, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, or just, there's peace in knowing that you can always get better, right? Like I've always equated a snatch and a clean and jerk to the mental picture in my head is a samurai swinging a sword.
Oh,
and like how, not that I've ever met a samurai, but the picture in the head is how their attention to detail with it, how it is as much an art and its own philosophy to them. Snatch and clean and jerk becomes that to the lifter, where and I think a lot of people see that is, it's not just pick up weight, put weight down, right? It's an art, right? It's for some people, it's how they express themselves, how they deal with the day. It's your thing, right? You can be as philosophical as you want, right? I cannot tell you how many lifting sessions I've had with friends where suddenly you start talking about life, because I think there's something to it, right? You're doing your art, you have your attention to detail, and then you go down your own rabbit hole. So I fully agree.
Like, that's totally right. And that was so funny that you say that, because that was me yesterday. You kind of get in, you're doing your thing, and I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna have to I don't need any more. I just need this weight above my head, right? And then once that's done, like, I'm gonna feel a little bit better, and like, it's been a big week, and let's just kind of get this done. And you get really quiet, and then the next thing you know, you put it above your head. You've faced that battle, right? And then it's like, right, and then you're just talking to people openly, and you're having these really intellectually stimulating and deep conversations with other people around you, because you've able to kind of knock on that door and overcome that battle.
Oh yeah. Also think, one of the cooler things it's ever done for me is it's like a small period of my day where things are quiet.
Mm,
And I'm not talking about like there's actually just quiet around me. There's always music going or people talking. It's just when you're so engrossed in what you're doing,
mhm.
you have, you only have this and it's the only thing you see. So your mind is quiet. And I think that like little period of time where you can just, you're talking about tough day, weight over your head. It's almost like you lift the weight off your chest and it's suddenly easier to talk to people, more open, the soul's quiet. Like it's great. It's so one of the benefits is away from, and I love it, don't get me wrong, away from the health side of it and away from the fun performance aspects of it, it's very therapeutic.
Mhm. Yep.
Like you can have, for me, right, like it's the best part of my day.
Yep.
So terrible day, go lift. Even the bad sessions, even the ones where I didn't even get close to what I wanted to do, you still walk away feeling better.
Yep.
I did work today. I feel good about this. I enjoyed, my craft, and suddenly the day's a little bit brighter.
Agreed, man. And that's the greatest thing um coming out of coaching for me. You know, I say especially with kids, like um I'll dumb it down to we teach life through the medium of fitness, right? It's like we
Yeah.
teach them how to move, but you actually are teaching them a lot of things, right? And when you get that light bulb moment in someone's eyes and they're finding that therapeutic rhythm, but all you've done is teach them how
Oh
to
yeah.
squat or maybe snatch or something. You can see the difference in their eyes. You're like, this is cool, man.
Yeah. I don't, I coach as well, right? And for me, the coolest part is sometimes you're not teaching someone to squat. Sometimes you're teaching them they can do more than they thought,
Mm-hmm.
or they move better than they thought, or they've been told something and you're giving a solution. And the highlight of coaching is making somebody smile, for me, which is, if you're in the gym at 5 a.m., right? If you made someone smile, indirectly you're going to make someone else's day better, and then you're going to make that person going to make somebody else's day better. So the ripple effect continues. Flip it around, you're working with someone at the end of the day and they've had a bad day and you can make them smile, that again, you've made a bad day better. um and when you're coaching, you have this, I don't want to say responsibility, but you have a privilege to help people believe in themselves, to help them see that they are more capable than what they've ever thought. um and it goes, yeah, at the same time we're getting you stronger and making you move better, and there's the health benefits, but sometimes that for me is someone, the amount of time someone said, well, I never thought I could do this. And I remember once someone actually came up to me and said, um, thank you for believing in me and helping me believe in myself. And that was it, man. That was me done. I was like, take a moment, shed a tear, and come back and try act like that did not affect me in any way.
Yeah, I can't deal with stuff like that, man. Because that's what we set out to do, right? You hit the nail on the head, like just to make people smile, man, and make them believe that they can do more and achieve more and get more from themselves outside of the gym, right? Because like there's 0.1% of people on the planet are going to do something with fitness in terms of a profession. So the rest of us are like, okay, well, what are they going to do? They're going to go pursue their career, be a better family member, whatever, be a happier person. And that's what we're trying to create. But we do it within the four walls of a gym just by making them smile, and they do the work.
That's it, man. It's I'm doing my own good in the world. I just happen to have found fitness to be the
Fuck yeah.
medium in which I try, the way in which I communicate that, the way in which I do it. Um, and I try to express that even when I lift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even when I'm lifting, I'd like to try inspire people and try to put a smile on someone's face,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's kind of, if in terms of human achievement, that's a pretty big one. Is if you can inspire someone and you can help, do something that maybe gets someone off the couch to go chase their own thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, then you win. then you've done it.
Fuck yeah. I gotta ask though. I gotta ask.
Ask away.
The sumo clean and jerk.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. Don't worry.
I gotta ask, dude. What how? Where do I start, man? How'd you get into that?
Look, I really wish it was a cooler story.
Make one up. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like when you get a scar. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shark attacked me.
I was fighting off a lion in
It
the
was,
bush.
yeah. I could do that one. No one in SA would believe me, but
Yeah.
I could get away with that one. It, look, man, I was with a mate. We were just kind of by ourselves, empty gym, and we were weightlifting fans. So we started talking about other ways to lift, particularly there's that old style lifting, frog style,
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of the Japanese lifters have done. So I just started trying it. Like, I've never done it. Like, with there wasn't really an intention to this is the answer,
Mm-hmm.
right? There wasn't I'm gonna do this right now. It was just we were feeling it out, and my lifts just they looked and felt, and I think that's the important one, is it felt better. And when I say felt better, it moved better in comparison to the more traditional method. The weights felt lighter when I did it that way.
Wow.
And again, it was just kind of I just didn't really have well, this is the way it's always been done, so I'm just gonna do it. I was like, this is cool. And I'm just going to give it a go. And it was let's take a period of time to train this and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, go back to how I was doing it, because you wouldn't have lost anything by trying.
100%.
And I think like that's the important thing. It was just like, I don't know how this is going to go, but if I never try, I'll never know. So so I gave it a shot for a period of time, and obviously as you do it more, you start adjusting it more to your own body, and you start changing a little bit until it is what it looks like now, the sumo clean, dragon clean, and it just, my lifts started going up, and they started getting more consistent in training. I was hitting every set more. In comps, I was getting more lifts. So, in comps routinely, I wasn't really getting more than, I was about 1 for 3 on the clean and jerk. And it was just far enough sort of on the local scene that I was getting by. And then suddenly I'm going 2 for 3 or 3 for 3 on the clean and jerk. So, there's something to this, and the numbers are going up. And if it's working, keep it, right?
If it's working, mate.
Yeah. And that was it. That was the story of, if I don't try, I won't know. And if I try and it doesn't work, well, I can always go back, right? I was far enough out from comps. It was kind of around the COVID time, so I had some time to play around with it, and it just became what it is now.
Wow. And the thing is, like, you're not gonna get weaker by doing it. It kind of like touches on the conjugate system, right? Of variation and always like changing things up. And like you're gonna get stronger in the long run if we think about it like the long term. Like, so yeah, why not? Like, fucking try it out. Like you said, if it doesn't work, or if you kind of hit a plateau, you hit a wall with it, like, just adapt back. It is a skill, like we can change that. But like, work is work at the end of the day. Kilos are kilos, and you're gonna be getting stronger when you're doing it anyway.
Yeah. And I remember, obviously, I don't train by myself 24/7. So I remember, a lot of guys would ask me, hey, why are you doing that? And my response would be, I'm not telling you anything, because I don't know if I'm going to keep it yet. And it was, and a lot of people were intrigued, but it was more like, oh, it's interesting, and then they moved on with their day. And I just kind of like, yeah, I'm trying this out, and if it works, cool, and if it doesn't, well, you'll just see me go back to the other way. And I guess I never had to find out if I got stronger in the other way, because I was getting stronger doing it that way, right? With the end goal being more better at the clean and jerk, more consistent. And something I suppose until I mentioned is I actually for a while did snatches in a similar sort of way, in that sort of, your feet really close, knees out. And I remember going, well, okay, well, this is not working. And then just went back to sort of working back on my snatch and doing it. Now my snatch has gone the way it's gone. And no one calls it a sumo snatch. So I assume it's pretty traditional and okay. But yeah, I tried it out on the snatch as well and didn't work. So I dumped it. And the clean and jerk, it was working. So I kept it. And it was just not having just not really worrying about fitting into the a certain mold, because that's how it was always done, right? And I'm not really the first guy to do it. I don't think I have total comfort in claiming to be a creator of anything, because plenty of guys have done something similar before me. I think I've just maybe in modern times someone who's done it on a bigger platform.
Yeah. The thing that gets me about that style of lifting is the hand position. It's a crazy start, right? And you're like, wow, and it's super hip dominant and it looks sexy too, and it's definitely like opens eyes. But like I look at it, I'm like, how the fuck do you get your arms above your head in that position?
So you're gonna laugh, man, but same answer was I have had, I've obviously, like everybody, similar. I've tried jerking with a wider grip, and again, just I don't know what it is. For me, just having them a bit closer, I was just doing better.
Wow.
Over a period, right? Obviously, the games was a bad day. But I have had to make a clean and jerk to get there. So again, actually it was funny because I had a really bad day jerk wise, but the jerk's actually the lift I'm the most confident in. And the thing I actually generally have to work on the least, although, again, hindsight's 2020, I probably should have worked on it a tad more leading up to the games. But it just, again, it was just, I'm feeling good here. I'm feeling stable here. I'm punching it good. And I suppose logic says, well, you got to drive it higher. And it just wasn't a worry for me because it wasn't ever the drive that was my issue. It was, other stuff. So it was, oh, cool, I'm getting high enough and I'm feeling like I'm getting, a good punch from this. So here we go. And a lot of guys are like, oh, your wrist must be pretty flexible. It's not really something I ever thought about. I can get into that position. Maybe I have super flexible wrists. It's not something I've ever really thought about, right? I can clean better that way, and I feel strong in the rack, and good cleans make good jerks, and I'm good in the jerk that way.
Good cleans make good jerks. I like that.
Yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer on that one. Well, for me.
I'm more jealous about your shoulder mobility. Like mine's shit at the best of times. I've just hit too many people with my shoulders over the years. So like putting them above my head is is an issue.
Yeah, that's that has been an incredible amount of hard work, and kudos to all the people who've helped me learn a lot of cool mobility drills to get it that way. When I started lifting, it was coming off a good amount of time playing rugby, and my left shoulder was, and I'm good now from all the work, but my left shoulder was actually like probably about a few centimeters lower than the right. Because I had banged it up so bad, and my overhead mobility and my ankle mobility was terrible. Like I could not, when I started lifting, I couldn't get it into a deep squat. It just wasn't a thing. And we just had to, again, I didn't see it as a limiter. I couldn't see the funnel. Something I suck at. Let's look for solutions. And well, now I still think it's the sexiest thing in the world is a deep squat.
Yes.
Like I remember like the first deep squat I ever did. I just started smiling. It was like, what's up? I'm like, this looks so cool.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if there's like 40 kilos on the bar or fucking 400. Like if you're sat down on your Achilles and you stand up, that's some sexy thing.
Yeah, you were talking about the clean being sexy. To me, that's sexy.
Yeah, yeah.
With
Yeah.
the big chest and you're just kind of sitting there all comfy. I actually, like, if I'm coaching someone, I feel there's always a twinge of jealousy when somebody comes in and they can just naturally do that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Like you do not understand like how lucky you are that you can just do that.
Yeah.
Because I could not, and it took, oh man, it must have been a year plus until I could get into like I'm sitting in a squat comfy. And even now it's still like a journey, right? Again, learning more to figure out that I still actually have limitations around those areas and they can still get better. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping my squat gets even sexier.
What about the overhead squat?
Yeah, obviously, right? If your ankle mobility gets better, and the shoulder mobility gets better, and you get more stable, then yeah, then it can get better.
I feel like
we've had that conversation. You can always get better.
No, I feel like no matter what gym you go into, even if it's a commercial gym, right, and machines and whatever, if you walk in and someone puts a bar above their head and sits down and stands up, you're like, now that was impressive.
Yeah, almost like if I travel book for work, and if I see someone doing that, I almost feel like we're friends instantly.
Yes.
Like you have no idea who I am, but I'm looking at you with this like big smile on my face. Like, yeah, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
Like he might not even be training for lifting, right? He just might want to do some overhead squats for warm up or whatever. But I like it. We're friends.
Yeah. 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 And then he's probably thinking, who's that fucking weird guy in the corner that keeps smiling at me?
Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm a friend.
I'm friendly. Friend.
Do you want some of my pre-workout?
Yeah. I'll show. Hey, man, you want to use my knee wraps or my belt? Yeah. Hey, I just want to see you overhead squat big. And then then the competitor comes out. Now I just want to overhead squat 1 more kilo than you.
Yeah,
we're still friends.
Yeah. And then you want to go get a burger and a beer afterwards.
Well, yeah, isn't that just exactly what made me fall in love with it, right?
100%.
Lift 1 more kilo than your mate, banter away at him for good. Then you got the day. You got about at least until the end of the night where you can just kind of rub it in over a beer. You talk about life.
Yeah.
And then the odds are at some point he's going to beat you in something as well, right? Like one of my closest mates, we have this ongoing squat competition. And I've done it with a few friends over funny things, right? Like a 10 RM squat or a max squat. None of them want to throw down snatch and clean and jerk, but that's fine. So we'll just do it in the squat or something. And there's just nothing more motivating than someone you deeply care about squatting more than you.
Yeah.
Because all I want to do then is immediately I just want to go train and put on just 1 more kilo than you. That's enough today.
Yeah, I love you, but fuck you.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Have fun watching this video over and over and over.
Yeah, I've done it with the 20 a few times with a few different people. It's like, okay, fine, I'll race you to whatever number on the 20 rep squat. And that gets savage.
Did you just say 20 rep squat?
Yeah, man. Like people just nail themselves.
Yeah, it's like rep 10, you're getting dizzy. And then
rep 10. Rep 3, I'm getting dizzy, bro.
Yeah. It's like you can't remember reps 5 to 10.
Yeah.
And you see the video, you're like, oh man. But I still got it.
You've got to like shout at someone behind you, what number am I on?
Yeah.
You forgot.
Yeah, I remember I was working with just like casual training with one of my lifters, and so she would cut this deal. She doesn't want to do her work. And I'm like, all right, if I get this for 10, because I'm struggling for 1, So I'm like, you see what the game we're playing, right? I'm like, if I get it for 10, you got to do this for another 2 sets. Deal. And immediately, like, suddenly something you struggle with for 1, you get for 10, right? Because there's that little competitive little thing
Yeah.
that's now happened, right? It was not pretty, and it'll never be posted. And the video has been deleted.
And your
But the
spine is
most
in a bad
important thing
position.
was she did her work.
Yeah.
That was the best part, was watching her miserably do an extra 10 sets.
Mate, you gotta have that friendly competition, man.
Absolutely.
Right. I got 3 questions before Zoom gives us the fucking boot.
For sure. Shoot.
What's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Greatest piece of life advice I ever received. Huh. It would, I could give you more than one because they're of equal value.
Yeah, shoot.
The 2 that comes to mind instantly is, and is this very, very cliche first one, is follow your heart. And you know, when I can go on about that one for a whole other podcast about following your heart. But the other one was, it was a quote someone told me, so you can probably find it, was, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not.
Fuck yes.
And that one for me, that resonated big time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that one a lot, man.
Well, you know, it's immediately, if you think about it like that, right? Like, you're just totally free of everything. You can just be yourself.
Yeah.
And then be free to work on yourself, and hopefully your intentions are pure and you try to be a wonderful human being.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Or at least half decent.
Yeah. You know, like 50% of the time it's a pass is good.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. C's get degrees, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the worst piece of life advice you ever received?
Oh. Wow, that's a good one. See, this one's a tough one because I've tended to disregard anything that didn't resonate with me. Probably go to school and be a lawyer.
Yeah, how's that working out?
I'm very glad I didn't.
Yeah. Fuck. Yep. Academic same for everybody, man.
Direct contradiction to the follow your heart one, right?
Yeah. I mean, they bleed into each other, and it's so true.
Yeah, I'm pretty glad I'm glad I did not take that one.
Good.
So yeah, I would have made a terrible lawyer. So yeah.
Fuck you, Your Honor.
Do you even lift?
Yeah. Come on, man. What'd you squat?
Yeah. If he doesn't squat with 2 plates, he's guilty.
Yep, 100%. Well, we had a thing. Me and a mate of mine, it was like, oh, if your boyfriend benches under 2 plates, then it's not a boyfriend, it's a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I was just like, just some
like
of the
all those gym sayings. I try to avoid them because they're so cliche. You know,
they're so dumb.
But they're humorous. They're fun.
Exactly. Like, it cracks a smile, it cracks a joke, whatever. Like, get back into the bar.
Yeah. All right, last one. What's the last one?
3 words you'd tell your younger self.
Follow your heart. Or maybe have no fear would be another one.
Thank you so much, brother.
All right. Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man. All right. We'll talk soon.
All right, man. A lot of fun. Thanks.
All right, man. Bye, everybody.